Ready, kids?
Aye, Captain!
I can't hear you!
Ahoy there, mateys. It's time to set sail on another episode of Unconstitutional Awakening, the podcast. I'm your captain, Jim Bob Ovalshorts. And tonight, my buddy from Canada up there that's a regular show guest, Canadian John, Uncle Johnny, or News Updates for Real, however you might know him as, depending on where you follow him, told me he had some super important news articles and stuff that he just needed to bring on. And, you know, I love kind of being the place for him to do such a thing. John's a real cool guy, and I think he does some real awesome stuff out there with trying to spread unbiased news to the world. And, you know, hopefully one day we can just get him to be part of the Unconstitutional Awakening family. But until then, I'm just going to keep hosting him every time he wants to come on. So, you know, I figured we'd hop on over here and talk about a bunch of cool stuff with him tonight. Luis and Bandit are joining me, and we even brought show friend Steven along for the ride because it's always good to have a room full of people and having some good conversation about some true topics that we need to be paying attention to. You know, there's a lot going on in the world aside from things that you keep hearing about every 30 minutes on your radio and whatever news station that you probably watch. And I think it's my duty to make sure that some of that stuff gets to you guys' ears because there's just so much of it going on. Of course, you guys know anything we do talk about tonight is totally going to have links as well as links to get back to my buddy John there. And of course, you guys know the place where you can find all of those links. It's at everyone's favorite website, unconstitutionalawakening.com. Your home for everything Unconstitutional Awakening, the podcast. Man, we've got all kinds of good stuff going on over there, and we're just going to keep on growing. Like, you ever want to keep up with us, man, just come and find us there. You know, there's links to get back to all our social medias and even some of our really awesome meme pages like Defeat the Media or Captain Conspiracy and the Freedom Pirates. We're all over the place doing great things all the time, man. We're trying to change the world as best as we can. There's also things over there in the podcast and more section to find us where we're hanging out on other people's shows and stuff like that, man. Luis is always popping into other shows as well as we are. So we try to make sure we spread the love and share every single week we possibly can with all that kind of good stuff. But hey, while you're over there, you can totally find yourself a new home to watch the show if all you do is listen to it, or listen to the show if all you do is watch it. We're expanding even more and more. I got a notification today that said we've been added to another audio app called Boomplay. So, you know, the show just keeps on growing, and that's really pretty awesome from my perspective because I'm just some weird pirate dude that likes to tell you cool things. And I appreciate each and every one of you that are out there listening and giving us the love and giving us the follows and all that kind of good stuff, man. Like, you guys are the reason we do this, and you guys rock more than anything else out there. You know, but while you are over there at unconstitutionalawakening.com, you can totally get you some of this sweet Unconstitutional Awakening merch, man. There's some good stuff been flying off the shelf over there, and we appreciate it. It helps fund this show, man, because this is a whole self-funded project. I come out of pocket for everything, and I always don't mind a hand backing up there. So you guys get you some sweet merch, and you guys can keep watching this show, and it's super appreciated. We've also got our great friends in Liberty, Kirk Elliott, Peachy Key Creations, MOCAN Survival, Brett Pike, and with Homeschools Connected and ClassicalLearner.com, and our newest and most, one of what I think is one of our coolest sponsors, is Pure Pet Wellness out there doing CBD and hemp products for our furry friends, man, out there with 4 legs and 2 legs and whatnot you got going on. Man, go give them a check out. Give all these guys a check out and see if there's anything they can do to help you out, because they're alternatives to your name brands and stuff like that. You know, it's like shopping local, but supporting a cool cause like this show and everything that you love over here doing that we got doing, man. So I don't want to yabber too much, man. I do, as normal, appreciate you guys and everything you got going on out there with us and continuous support. We are still totally doing our Unconstitutional Awakening, the podcast sticker giveaway, man. You guys hop over there and answer those riddles, man. The only way you're going to get a sticker is if you go to the podcast and more section, find the episode that the riddle's been asked for, and answer it underneath there. I've already given away 1 sticker, and I got plenty more to give away and want to give them away. So please make sure you listen to the end of the episode and catch that pirate riddle. Just answer it on the website and get yourself a cool sticker, man. And if you just want to buy some of those stickers, if you're interested in that, you can find those on that merch store as well, man. We got it all going on over there. So I guess with that, let's weigh anchor and set sail on this guy. So good evening, everybody. I'm glad you guys could join me tonight. My buddy over here, as we call him on here, Canada John or Uncle Johnny or whatever you might know him by, news updates for real out there on some of the other websites.
Yes,
Man,
sir.
he was like, man, I got some info and I got to put it out there. And I was like, well, you know, this is the place I'm going to let it happen because I'm all about that kind of stuff. Shoot, man, I wish you'd come around like once a week or something and hang out and give us some of these news updates. We're always down for it. I do appreciate you coming over here and doing what you do, man. Like you're out there trying to give that real news information instead of being CNN or Fox or what channels still exist now? Do people still watch the news?
They all still exist. I mean, man, as long as there's boomers, there's going to be mainstream media.
Oh, all right,
Fair.
all right. Yeah.
I mean, even then, the ratings are going down. I mean, what ads are on Fox? What ads are on? Just look at the ads. Other than 70%,
all the ads are on YouTube.
Yeah, the only reason they still exist. Yeah, I mean, seriously though, the only reason they still exist is because of like your late 50s plus age group still get all their updates from CNBC, C-SPAN, MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, all of them. They still exist solely because of them.
I mean, that's changing massively. Even they are.
I really hope so.
And
guys, I can tell you.
Before we get too far, I also want to say hello, Stephen. I appreciate you jumping on in with us again this evening. If you guys are familiar with Stephen as well, he's a show regular and show follower and all around good guy. And I was like, hey man, we're talking about some important stuff tonight. You want to join us? And here he is. So I do appreciate that. So he's always got a great perspective to throw on things because he wants to just burn it all down. Like that's the ground we got. So
okay, but if you burn it down, do you want to build from the ashes or do you want to burn one room of the house?
There's no point.
There's nothing to build from the ashes.
Yeah. We all become self-sufficient and help each other out and be cool to each other. Easy peasy.
So I always say we're going to turn into the Flintstones and the Jetsons. So you're Flintstones. Gotcha.
Steve, that's way too.
I'm okay with the Flintstones.
It's way too.
Okay. John, you're Flintstones or Jetsons?
An idea. It makes too much sense. It'll never work. You know.
That's the brilliant part.
John, are you Flintstones or Jetsons?
Flintstones, I think, all day. But
So
that's because
everybody
I got like a bulbous heel because I shattered my bone there. So you know, I'm Flintstones. I could probably roll those stone tires.
So let's get into it, John. What kind of good news for you got me this week, man?
Well, I'll just say I apologize. My dogs are fighting right now, but let's jump into what you were talking about. People watching, CNN, Fox News, all that stuff.
Yeah, right.
What today's talk I did want to talk to you guys about, and Jim Bob, I'm humbled and gracious from what you said earlier, and this is the thing. I get to come talk to people who have open minds, and you know what? That's a rare thing, and that's why I respect all y'all here. And Steve, I like that you want to burn everything down, so we're off to a good start. So let me talk about this. I'm getting sent some stuff that honestly, I've had Luis help with it a bit, and I honestly got to tell you, people don't trust the mainstream media. They trust a random TikToker now, and I think there's a lot to be said about that. And I'm curious what you guys think about that. Like, is that a good thing? Like, I'm out here and now, straight up, I don't know, man. I don't know how to say this right without sounding, stupid, but it's like, as far as a random guy, I do have qualifications in the sense that I did want to be a journalist, English lit, worked in politics. I have an idea of what to do, but I don't know what I'm doing, man. And I want you guys to understand that. So the stuff we're going to talk about, I'm curious. Like, I'm seriously looking for feedback. And, if anyone watching this wants to get in and involved, we're building a grassroots journalism thing here, and we're breaking stories, and we'll get to that. Well,
first and foremost, I appreciate all of the kind words you just threw my way, man. Like that does mean a lot. And to be real with you, like, I don't know what I'm doing half the time, but I try to just have fun while doing it. And that's why I keep kind of nudging towards you about, coming over here and sticking with the fam and throwing that information out when you want to, man. Like we're always down for it. And I do mean it, like any and every time. And even if you want to pop in here during the week, man, just let me know. We'll do news updates and breaking news, man. I like working with you. And screw what the system says is what you need to do your journalism. Like, you can do journalism your way. I think in a sense we're doing journalism here.
There's different news styles, and that's the beautiful thing people are gravitating to, is they're gravitating to just analysis and data behind the expression and the representation, and then sometimes even the questioning. This is what this is. The source is this. We believe this about this. You decide and you create your assumptions on such a subject, because there's sometimes the source is interesting, so you can be questioning of it, but it's the debate of, even, is it a 4chan troll? Is it an intelligence operation from another country? Is it our own intelligence, or is it the real news? It could literally be all of the above. It's like that crazy.
You mean like how there's two,
all those other things you said, and then like 10% real news, sadly, and then but you're on it.
You mean like there's two versions of Birds Aren't Real. There's the real version of Birds Aren't Real, where the CIA did kill a bunch of Russian birds to place drones in their place back in the 60s. And then there's the whole fake one that the dude runs around making an ass of himself about. And
he's kind of hilarious, though. He is.
I gotta give him props for that.
The entire,
he's still running it. He has an account. Birds Aren't Real.
But he doesn't. I've attempted to cross paths with him a few times, and because I run off of the more factual one, he doesn't seem to like me.
Yeah, you ruined his bit, because he's being satirical with conspiracy theorists, and he's disregarding the fact that a lot of it is more true than people want to admit. Let's talk about, I had this written down in my list, but let's talk about The Wreck of the Titan. You ever heard of this novel? You ever heard of this novel?
Which novel?
It was also called Futility. It was written in 1898. It was about the largest ship in the world crashing into an iceberg on the Pacific in April. And it's 2 letters off, man. It's 2 letters. Titan.
Oh yeah.
Titan.
Dude.
Anyway.
Well, Edgar Allan Poe also wrote a story that became true soon after. I'm trying to remember. Edgar Allan Poe.
It's
the story predicted the future.
I mean, is it predicting the future, or is it like our modern version of predictive programming that's definitely used by the CIA through Operation Mockingbird, just in earlier stages because everybody read?
The thing is, you have the mindset now of it was billionaires fucking other billionaires and just murdering a shit ton of them in order
JP Morgan canceled the
Federal Reserve agenda.
I've done whole episodes kind of on this subject on the Red Pill Project about the Titanic conspiracy in general, and there's a lot of interesting photos out there that show that the so-called sister ship was the ship they actually sent out and sunk. And
the Britannia.
And this has to do with the lineup of windows that were built and stuff like this. And I've actually done some really deep investigation into this. And I don't believe in coincidences, so all fingers totally point at exactly what that one dude that got, I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but that was the only dude going to the media saying, no, I heard explosions that night, and he suddenly vanished.
I mean, it would explain more that there was explosions just because it was
And
well designed.
And the creature from Jekyll Island happening right simultaneously after it, with which that's a book as well. You know, that's where they went down there, and all these rich dudes that canceled their trip on the Titanic that were supposed to be there,
JP Morgan,
went and created the Federal Reserve. And they probably, that, you know, for all we know, that was probably one of the closest original Epstein
And
Islands.
one of the guys that was most powerful that was against them that owned, what is it, 10% of the real estate in the United States?
what happened to him?
Like,
There was multiple.
godly amount of money. Like,
There was
people don't understand. These people were way richer than you think. Some of them were trillionaires in today's monetary value. So the concept of how powerful these people were is really not understood by most of the public.
All right, so let me ask. So is it just like
Jacob Astor.
Nostradamus threw so much shit on the fucking wall. He's right a lot, right? Is it just fictional stories are written? It's just coincidence, or is it predictive programming? And I
have
think
you
that's
taken enough drugs?
And
you will eventually see it
Wait.
all.
Yeah, that's fair.
Are we talking about Nostradamus's predictions?
I mean,
No, he just
so
threw
like,
that in
that's
there.
kind of what I think it's connected, right? Because you
Maybe.
talk about this thing, premonition, you know, whatever. Is it a plan? Is it premonition? Is it coincidence? I mean, that's an important question to ask.
Have you actually looked at any of Nostradamus's predictions? They are worded so vague, and there's really no numbers attached.
Exactly.
That they really. But now, on the other hand, the blind prophet Baba Yaga, she is right 85% of the time, and she actually has dates attached to her predictions. So
is she the one that
is more believable.
9/11?
I think there were I think there were actually a lot of fortune tellers that predicted 9/11. Because believe it or not, that was known far enough in advance that
you remember the X-Files? You know the three dudes?
Wait.
They made the show out of the three dudes. I know this is vague.
Oh, the lone gunman.
Yes, the Long Gunman. They did an episode in 1999 about a plane hitting the World Towers, man. Straight up. Look that shit up, Doug. And that was...
Go down the
Breaking
rabbit
Bad.
hole of everybody that talked about the 9/11. So, Deus Ex Machina, you ever heard of that game? Deus Ex?
No.
Okay,
No.
so it's a game about the future. It's a game about basically humanity when we have cybernetic implants and humans are melded with machine. In this
Can't
game,
wait.
the first version, they show in the intro that the World Trade Center was destroyed by terrorists in 2001. They don't say the month, but they say the year and the time. I believe they even said 2001. This game came out in 1999.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And
Steve,
then
what do you-
100 other
Steve-
examples. It's
Steve, what do you
strange.
think about all this? As a
People knew
someone
about
who
9/11
really wants
coming,
to see the ashes. Like, is this even worth talking about? Do you think?
Oh yeah, I mean, like the more we talk about something, I think the more we discover the truth of what's behind it, whether it's real or not, or whether or not there's an agenda behind it. So I think there's value in talking about everything that kind of has like been confirmed in the last couple months. You know, I mean, just like people just talking about it, and the government's being all casual, like, yeah, this stuff's true.
Steve, you just nailed it, man. Because I actually
that's how
brought
I
up.
feel.
Oh, I
I'm
love
gonna-
the book being backwards. I remember that since
Get
when
ready.
it happened.
I
From
remember
the day it
that from-
happened.
Yeah,
Yo,
I remember
someone
the
sent
day it
me-
happened, man.
I can't believe you brought this up. Do you know what they're spelling? Get ready.
Yeah. Yep.
They're spelling "get ready" as that's happening, and I mean, you know, whatever. It's but is it? Fuck, man. Let's talk about something. Let's talk about stuff. This is a good segue. Let's talk about stuff that's not conjecture or conspiracy or coincidence. Let's talk about the video I got sent of civilians getting shot in the streets of Peru. Right, like straight up, they. It's kind of convoluted. Long story short, we almost had the Minister of Transport doing a TikTok live interview, but he backed out last minute because the source reached out. Her mother is connected. That's all I'll say. And she sent me pictures, her fucking driver's license. Like, and I mean this when I say I'm taking this with the utmost seriousness, and I want to do right by them, but this is what's happening right now in the world, and it's horrific. And
I do have that video, and I'm gonna share it, I think, with this. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should it be?
No,
I mean, it's reality. I mean, you don't need to show
Yeah.
it. It's reality. It's just, this is reality. Reality is violent. I mean, look at any war in Israel, battlefield, just with Palestine. There's tons of footage just coming out of there that is horrific, and the Israelis do fucked up shit. The Palestinian Hamas does fucked up shit.
Do. Yes,
and that's the reason why that area has attention. It's a very complicated subject. We're not going to go into that.
The whole world.
It's a whole world that's going through it.
The nature of reality on Earth, on planet Earth, is violence and war. That is absolutely, like, that is what is normal. Living in a dystopian, like, cookie cutter home, cul-de-sac is not natural.
Is that the one is this the video you were talking about?
That is about the Iranian death judge. I could, you know what? I should have sent you the vids prior. We don't need to watch them. Let's put it that way.
All right.
It's footage of a first-hand account of a fella getting shot, and then another account of the soldier coming up and giving him that nice love tap, with his foot, just to make sure he's dead. And so,
I saw that.
That was on my feed. That's where that came from. So
that was the video you sent me about.
Again, what they're doing is they're going, well, I get comments. I got comments on the video I posted. It was, it was either, this is, horrible, which is, I think, the right reaction, regardless of what side you're on. But you know what some people commented? They went, those commies are violently protesting. They deserve it. And I go, Jesus fucking Christ.
So
we can't help ourselves but to fucking make that split, and we gotta not do that anymore, man. We gotta not.
There is the 50 Cent Army.
Okay, educate. I don't know about it.
Okay,
tell me.
Chinese have something that, like, people call colloquially the 50 Cent Army. They have an army of people that just go online in multiple languages, start commenting fucked up shit.
So
they push
learn something new every day.
There is bots that push hate towards certain agendas. You can hire these bots to push narratives and to push wording and to push wordplay, ideas, conflicts. You can hire bot farms to push agendas.
So you're telling me that bots do that?
Bots and humans. No, so the humans, that's the thing. That's where it gets complicated. So the 50 Cent Army, the humans go in, and then they try to start fights with you.
I feel like I know a member of that group. I think, like,
the Chinese just fuck around. I mean,
talk about that guy.
There's millions of people that are paid to do this, to go online.
How many times do you think, Luis? How many times do you think you've had arguments with a robot?
A couple of times on Instagram.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like,
if you're on Twitter any amount of time during the day, your chances of running into a bot and talking to a bot are like 1 in 10.
Didn't that one FBI guy say it's like 80% bots? I mean, that's just one guy.
Not that high. It's not that high. Well, but it's about 50-50.
What is it? So 5% of all Twitter is 5 to 10% of all Twitter is relatively really active. So when you're seeing this amplification of messaging that happened when the right was suppressed, you saw an over exaggeration and expression from the left that doesn't exist in real life. In real life, people in the United States do not think like that.
Right.
They made you believe that other people think like that. But the majority of people are likely against those medical procedures, but they were
orchestrated outrage. Yeah.
Have you seen pictures of the bot and videos of the bot farms?
Well, there's different categories of bot farms. There's the digital version and the human version.
Yeah, John, like you had
I think you sent a video of Luis. You sent one.
I've sent you
Instagram.
There's different types of bots.
Human one, but then you've got the one person running like 100 cell phones.
So there's pictures you can find online and videos of there'll be one person, there's 100 phones in front of them, and then you have them like constantly doing different things. So they write these they have these software that's connected to these phones, and then some of the software actually auto writes certain things for them, and they're just literally copy pasting. So this is just Android scripts running on multiple devices connected to botnets, and then you have to have the human interaction element. Like it's complicated what they're doing. I had friends that were even talking about
You
designing
get past
them.
the captures.
No, so the captures sometimes are just that is legit computers. So I did play with one from the OpenAI one, I think it was, or something similar. It was Microsoft, but it was computer generated images and very complicated puzzles that I was like legit. I failed multiple times because I'm like, these are like absurdly good. We're gonna get to the point where people will not be able to solve the captchas.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna get there.
Yeah.
We're already close.
I totally believe that.
Somebody made a Doom captcha. That's the best captcha ever made. You play Doom?
Yes.
Yeah.
Since the beginning.
Well, so I mean, fuck, that was a lot to take in. Yeah, fuck the bot. God damn it. I'm glad. I mean, so it's like, is it better? if it's a
Humanity
bot?
is good.
I guess
Humanity
it's
is
less
naturally
disturbing
good.
if it's a bot. I think that's better. But like, so what I want to talk about though is obviously, so you got Brazil, you got Peru, you got France had huge riots yesterday, which I saw footage of on TikTok and nowhere in the news. But I did see people marching in the streets in France. I was tagged in it numerous times. So people are unhappy, right? And the bottom line is, whether you're right or left, we're the ones getting hurt regardless. Okay, so you storm, you take a side, you go, they shouldn't have stormed, or they should have stormed. We got to do it together, I guess, is the point I'm trying to make. And I'm doing a fucking bad job of making it eloquent, guys. But that is if I could make one fucking point, in my life, that would be the point. Like, it's us that hurt no matter what. Do you think Putin's hurting? Do you think Biden's hurting? Do you think Trudeau
doesn't know what time it is?
It's no matter what, it's us, the people, that hurt every fucking time, and we outnumber them. What, 100 million to 1? I don't know. What's 1% of 8 billion? Anyways,
no, we're probably. So you ever heard of the 5 to 10% rule when it comes to toppling of governments and ideas?
It used to be 3%.
So for revolution is 3 to 5%. 3 to 5% of the population is a real bad disagreement. We're over 15 to 30%. We're like closer to the 30% range.
But see, the thing, what it comes
We're at
to right
saturation
now,
rate.
hold on, what it comes to right now is back, a couple hundred years ago, it took 3%, hence why they were called 3%ers. Originally, we have reached such a comfort level and a pacification level that it is going to take something extreme to push that 15 to 20 to even 30%.
It's happening live in color. It's happening live in color. It happened yesterday. It happened the day before yesterday.
It is going to take something. I know, but it is going to take something.
A very famous person dying randomly in front of everyone.
Not even that, man. Not even that.
Mayonnaise, an instrument.
It is going to take the Boston Massacre times 1,000. Times 1,000 to push this pacified population to the point of breaking. And it's just not going to happen right now.
Well, hopefully it doesn't get to that serious point. That's horrific that we have.
Luis is gonna get walled up inside of New York City, and he's gonna get an eye patch. He's gonna get an eye patch, and he's gonna get buff, and he's gonna have to escape from New York.
Luis Pliskin.
And we'll be out here on the outside waiting for him with John driving our stone wheel car.
I'll get a plane.
I got the heel for it, my guy. That's done.
I'm gonna get a plane. I'm gonna get out.
So,
yes.
So John just frozen. Oh, there we go.
Are we good? Sorry, boys. I had to hook myself up to the charger here. So
fair.
That's what I said. Are you plugged in?
we're bringing that raw journalism to your front door, just as, as clustered as a motherfucker. But so having said all that, I think, it's funny. I go down paths with you guys. I have no fucking expectation. But y'all are some knowledgeable motherfuckers, man. So how do we bring the sides together, I guess, is what I want to just touch on just briefly. How do we do that?
We all agree on many points.
So
we all agree that we don't need a government. That's how you bring the sides together. You convince them that you convince them that self-governance is the way, that we don't need people that obviously don't know how to follow the rules to be making the rules.
I would say that's the hardest version. I don't disagree. I think that's the hardest version, but
imagine
making government smaller again.
Imagine you got convicted of money laundering and corruption and then elected president of a country. Like, that's not right. Oh, wait,
Lula,
what did I just said? I just said, they don't follow the rules and they're making the rules at the same time.
I followed.
As long as you have a Supreme Court judge buddy that, just annuls it, you're good to go. It's no big deal, man. It's all good.
Economically speaking, Brazil was looking like China. So what they did was they essentially copied China's playbook.
Yeah, but so this is what I'm talking about, though, right? So now what
that was Lula, but that was what Lula was doing.
If you just present those facts to anyone in a non-partisan, unbiased way, it's like, that's fucked up. But because of, I guess the media, the fucking 50 Cent Army, whatever it is, a combination of all of it. But now it's become, it's crazy right-wing radicalists attacking Congress again, and this pictures getting painting, the lines getting drawn thicker in the sand. And
look at what's going on in Brazil right now. I mean, everybody is comparing this fake January 6th insurrection to what's going on in Brazil right now. These guys have even mimicked, and they have their own Brazilian shaman.
That did happen a year ago.
Brazilian shaman that is actually walking around right now. They are comparing what happened here to there. And you have Bolsonaro. I can't pronounce that.
Bolsonaro. He is here
eating and he's in the hospital.
He got a stomach ache.
He's in the hospital.
Yeah, he's in Florida. Yeah.
Bad KFC.
I'm like, wait a minute. I've seen this before. Your nurse is gonna have the initial CIA. And you're gonna get diagnosed with suicide. They're trying to extradite him out of Florida.
They're not going to.
I know.
No, they're trying.
Brazilians with billions of dollars in Miami behind him too.
They're trying to get him out of Florida so he can stand trial because they want to keep Lula in power.
Yeah. Now, he seems like a real piece of shit.
Did Lula win? That's the real question. Did Lula really win?
That's the question that needs to be answered.
Well, so that's what I was sent. So that's exactly. And frankly, I should have sent this to Jim Bob. I'll send it to you after because honestly, I'd love your opinions on it.
Settled is
apparently
bullshit.
there was an audit that was requested by the military, and it was done apparently half-assed. But regardless, I do apparently have some results from it, but it didn't matter, right? Because in the end, they shut the audit down, and that's a lot of things people are pointing to. But I try and hold people accountable. Like, you say the election's rigged, show me some proof, right? You know what I mean? Because it's a dangerous thing.
Having
said that, he is like he should.
By the way, this is not illogical.
He is a convicted con artist, like corruption, like god damn it, he money laundered.
They changed the rules in order to let him back in.
So I hate how the left will blindly now go, you guys are crazy, and it's like, nah, man, it's like pretty rational to assume that like he maybe did some dirty shit because he's been charged for it. He was sentenced to 9 years. He should be in jail right now. He's the president, straight up. And so like I don't know a lot about Brazil, and I hope any Brazilians watching aren't offended by my fucking Western white man privilege take. And I mean that, but I'm saying like, it's obvious that's fishy. And so it's like, and then on the other side, can we do something more than just storm the Congress and then just leave and get arrested? Like, what are we doing here? Can we actually have a plan when we go in next time, everyone?
No, I mean there is no simple answer because I mean I will tell you the last time something like January 6th, which was not really a thing, was I think in the 50s, Puerto Ricans. We went in with guns and we shot at them.
Well, I mean, we did have that thing here in the States where
so Puerto Ricans did more.
That was in Tennessee, by the way, after World War II.
Yeah, in Tennessee after World War II, when them vets came home from their small town and their local government was trying to be corrupt, their little tiny local government. Yeah,
is trying to maintain his power.
And they took their town back.
Oh yeah.
You know, I like to.
I've never heard this story.
Oh yeah.
I like to remind people that, like, compared to January 6th, January 6th was
that's what I'm saying.
It was a complete set.
Can I stop all you guys real quick? I gotta stop.
A leftist group. Hold on. Okay.
Sorry, you go, Bandit. You finish. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
A left-wing group set off a bomb in the Capitol in the 80s. Nobody seems to remember that. You know, that has been memory hold so deep.
Well, I mean, there's that footage of the guy planting some bomb outside. They still don't know who it is, right? Which side it was.
January 5th.
So my thing is, you know,
that was a Fed.
I just want to ask you guys' opinion of this. I'm not saying I'm the know-all. Andrew Callahan, the Channel 5, you know, formerly All Gas, No Brakes guy. I really like that guy as a journalist because that guy, do you guys know who I'm talking about?
I think so. I'm looking for him now.
Check him out. He's got the fucking curly afro.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about. I know exactly who you're talking about.
He just released a documentary on HBO. Tim and Eric produced it. It's called This Place Rules. Okay. Yeah. He is a gonzo journalist. He goes into the riots of BLM. He went into the Trump rallies. He went into the anti-COVID rallies. He's the guy that had the footage of the guy being like, "Cough in my face." That's him. So I really respect Andrew, and he saw this coming, and it, like, January 6th did happen. Like, it happened, and he, you know, brought all the footage up into it. He interviewed the Proud Boys president there, and the guy sells Biden t-shirts on the side. He doesn't give a fuck. And like, that's what, and I think I have really become, I was of that mind before, and it solidified it. Like, it's all together. The sides don't give a fuck. You can think you're on the right side. It's all the wrong side.
So
it's a uniparty.
Not to toot my own horn there, John, but you see, when you first started hanging out with me, you were still fresh off of being a little government boy from up there in Canada. Yeah, and I have slowly but surely watched your descent into Stephen. Watch your descent into Stephen as the show has progressed, kind of hanging out, because
not quite.
He's getting there though, because
Stephen Light. He's Light.
You're about fed up with it, and
just
see that's what I like. That's what I like to see, and you know that. I think in a sense, you know, you keep asking what, and I wanted to answer this earlier, but like, you know, what to do, and like. Yeah. I have been working on what to do because I think there has been a giant detachment from each other thanks to the internet.
Yeah.
We don't look forward to phone calls. We'd rather text with people and stuff like that. And then when you have like Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, you're typing responses. And when you're typing a response, that on your side, you have emotions that go along with these words and the way that you pronounce them, the way that you say them, the way your body language works and stuff like that. And people automatically can misconstrue things. For the longest time in my life, I'm always told, why are you trying to argue? And I looked at what I was doing, and it's not that I'm trying to argue. I know I'm long-winded. I prove it here on the show quite frequently, but I want to explain something so thoroughly because I actually know it or understand it or something. And people are like, well, you're just being an asshole. And it's just like, no. So I have found that you can have conversations face to face with people from all walks of life, because boy, have we seen them. And you can find common ground in different places. But the number one common ground that I have found is laughter.
Hell yeah.
If you can make someone laugh, you can instantly knock their guard down and actually progress forward with some form of intellectual conversation afterwards, because somebody's going to come softer towards you if you've made them laugh. And it's a plus if you can make them laugh before you even speak. And sometimes you just got to look the part to get a grin out of somebody before they can, even have a chance to. That's my thought. That's my take.
It's a beautifully simplistic and true thing. And that oh yeah.
It is difficult these days finding common ground with people when discussing such things as like, well, what is your political take on this? What is your political take on this? It really is very difficult. But what I've noticed lately, if you spend enough time, and this is a weird thing to bring up, but if you spend enough time in the grocery store now, I do, you will notice that even just like your regular people are voicing their concern and their outrage over what is going on.
I overheard a conversation today.
And if you hook them with that, you can bring up the fact of like, hey, well, what do you think's causing this? Well, what do you think you should do about this? It really is like you got to find common ground to relate to somebody that is outside your political view. And that's the difficult part, especially everybody is so left right now. And that is what they want. They want a nation divided left versus right.
Confrontation.
And
that confrontation, it comes easy.
Yeah.
It
really does. It really does.
I heard one of those conversations.
And that's what you bring up. You bring up. I'll bring up the whole. Bot farms online. It is so easy to keep people divided on politics now.
On anything.
Because I'll say that, but we're on the topic of politics. I'll stick with that rather than go on another rant of everything. Actually, no, fuck that. I live in Kentucky. I live in Kentucky. There's no professional sports teams, but you have two major college teams. You have the University of Kentucky and the University of Louisville. Families have split up because of college sports teams. They make stickers.
What do you mean, you people?
Specifically, they have car stickers that say husband is a U of L fan, wife is a UK fan. It is absolutely asinine that somebody would.
But we have that in Georgia and Georgia Tech.
And the powers that be. I like to say that because
the Roman really don't. Circus, come on, it is that simple.
It is. No, it is. That's what it boils down to. It's just it's bread and circuses. It's so easy.
2,000-year-old tactic.
They have used that for thousands of years to keep people divided because a population divided is easy to rule.
Correct. Yeah.
So it's
so easy to just keep
it.
That's the thing. Like, how do you undo that? How do you make it where it's more difficult to be so easily divided?
Okay.
Create new sources.
So Steve,
that's one thing.
I think when people cling to something like that, it's because they're trying to find identity in something they're lacking, right? Like it's like I don't know what I'm about. So I'm going to say
they've had their self-identity scrubbed from them by the system.
Yeah, they will wrap their personality around something that is just totally nonsensical, like sports, video games.
To be strong, exactly.
Yeah,
they want to be strong.
And so
social media,
gravitate. Yeah, social media. Their whole personality is wrapped around this totally this thing
people
that is.
That debate Apple Android team. That's so stupid. I'm like,
right.
I will use Android. I will use Apple. I will use Windows. I will use all of them. They're all basically different tools that use a web browser. Get from
these capitalistic pigs? I'll take that one, right? Like that's what I want.
Right, though. But seriously, though, that is the problem you face.
Also, this is
bringing a population together is finding common ground when, like Steven said, so much of the population is basically just your day-to-day drones, your NPCs, your people that have no personality whatsoever. And you can't reason with them because it's like they have these pre-programmed responses to everything.
Wait,
Yes.
Well, and also
remember
Bandit.
the
Then
cognitive
they have to
dissonance, Evan?
admit. Then they have to admit, Bandit, that everything they stood for was
It's
wrong.
a
And like,
lie. It's a
that's
lie.
a hard thing to do, and I, you know, none of us may like. Who are we to say we know better? But it's like at least, you know, I'm not just gonna blindly say it's like, oh, you liked that other Kentucky school? Nah, man. Nah, we ain't friends now. It's like, yeah.
Oh, but that's so
insane.
right. That's so true,
fucking
though.
insane.
That is how a
How
then,
old are these people?
And
That's
see,
the sad part. How
and
old
see,
are
then
they?
then I
5?
like.
Oh,
well,
they're probably we.
Listen, I know some 40-year-olds that are like
in
this.
their early
yeah.
40s.
You know,
yeah.
like
They
yeah.
need to get a life.
I agree.
I think if
I
you could
agree.
break it down, I like to always say this. It's very dramatic. Sorry, Jim Bob. I'm gonna let you jump in right now. But do all our babies bleed the same color? Yeah.
Right.
Unless you're that basketball player guy that bled yellow all over the court. I don't know if you guys ever saw that shit. It's fucked up.
Oh, I'm gonna
What?
look.
We don't have to
Oh,
get into it, but
Yeah,
that's
yeah. And I'm
No,
gonna
no, no.
look.
Joking. Is this an
You're gonna
alien?
bring
I
it
know
up and
aliens,
sweep it
dude,
right
for
back
real.
in.
There's
Like,
a video
who is this?
of a basketball player, like their hand hyperextends. So
Hey,
okay, so I have two theories on this. It's fake broadcast, which would be incredible. Like
No.
it's a generated
So
broadcast.
it's just
It'd
like
be insane.
it's literally Space Jam.
Yeah, it's like a glitch. So that's I don't
man.
know. I've seen some videos recently, like past few years on basketball games that it just breaks your brain when you watch it. You're like, what did I just watch?
Are you talking about the glitch in the Matrix basketball video where they all step off at the same? Have you seen that
Oh,
one?
that happens a lot.
Yeah, where they'll like stop and then the whistle will blow and they'll all,
And then
do
all of
the
those
same thing.
simultaneously, but
Yeah.
perfect.
Jim Bob, you
Synchronicity.
found it.
Which one? The vial.
Uh,
Oh yeah, there we go.
that ain't
Hmm.
right.
Mm-mm-mm.
So you wanna know what they said? They said it was spinal fluid.
Oh,
That
God, that
yes,
sounds horrible.
that can happen.
Yeah,
Really?
that-
Okay, maybe.
Yeah, that can happen.
yes, that can happen. That is.
Not
There is
out
a
of the
no.
nose, though.
Here, there was a story of it's an old. I don't know if it's ever been proven true urban legend that this it was a while ago, and I don't remember names or specifics, but a woman. It has to deal with a tear in the lining separating your brain from your nasal cavity.
Oh.
That like you
So that's
if
the
there's a
juice.
tear and if you bend over you'll actually have like it's clearish yellow fluid leaking out of your nose, and when you stand up it'll stop.
All right, you're making my
It's-
head hurt.
Yeah.
Okay. That's nasty. The human
yeah,
body, eh? Frankly, I'm embarrassed. I'm disgusted by my own
We
body.
just got a new solar flare. Oh wait, what's coming?
But
Oh, no,
to back up a
it's-
little bit there, John, you know, you're right. You know, there's a lot more commonality. You know, I try to point that out a lot on here. You know, that at the end of the day, there's nobody in this room or anybody that I can say that's listening that can't agree on the fact that as human beings on this planet, we're totally looking for a safe place to lay our head at night, a full belly, and camaraderie of some sort. And there's not anybody who's not looking for that, I believe. And you know, we have this whole when you were on with Spike, when we had Spike on last week, you know, we brought up this whole thing on how 80% of the population doesn't partake in the mental gymnastics of the voting system and doesn't want to be ruled and none of the above. That 80% of the population is already governing themselves and already doing, for the most part, what they want. And they might not understand it to an extent, but they're doing a really good job of it, and I'm proud of them. And you know, the more of that we have, the more we squash their nonsense. Because think about that. If 80% of the population isn't partaking in that game, so that means you're telling me that 20% of the population is split in half and fighting each other for a show in front of the world, while the 1% is sitting up there doing whatever. So like,
Yep.
So we're definitely the majority. And I think that the reason we over here in the States, I know in Canada, you guys are getting run through it with, I know I say his name wrong, but your buddy Trudeau there.
Castro Jr.?
Castro Jr., yeah. They're doing some numbers up there, but like we sold 16 million guns this year in the last year on paper. 16 million guns changed hands on paper last year alone.
That seems low to me, actually. Is that weird?
Well, it's been on a steady increase.
Yeah,
since 2019.
Man.
Yeah,
No
but that on top of the how much is it, Bandit, that we already got going on?
How many guns are in the United States alone? Registered? Something like 450 million registered guns.
Oh my fucking God. I mean,
we possess registered. We possess.
This doesn't include things that your dead grandfather gave you.
46% of the world's total amount of firearms are located within the United States that are registered, including something like 3 trillion rounds of ammo.
Jesus Christ.
And I've just learned some really cool things about black powder, and I want a cannon.
There are more.
A pirate should.
Those are not considered firearms. Oh, by the way,
it's fully legal to own a battleship.
Trebuchets, ballistas, and catapults are not registered by the AT. They're not
regulated items.
Yeah, they're non-regulated items.
Neither are my.
But hold on a second. Hold on a second.
My pirate guns that I want.
Oh, Johnny's gone.
He'll be back.
He'll be back. It's unfathomable the amount of firearms and ammunition the regular population holds, and that alone
we're ready for the zombie apocalypse.
Tells people that it is impossible to regulate firearms. Anything. I mean, bump stocks have always been on the menu. That everybody was just like, oh, the federal court, whatever, just overturned the bump stock ban, and I'm like, bump stocks were always on the menu. I mean, but anyway, bump stocks are garbage anyway. And
they were banned by the weirdest factor, which we wanted to but wait until
it turns a semi-automatic firearm into a fully automatic firearm.
Yeah,
that makes no sense.
The
Republicans have done more gun control than Democrats.
And the amount of hunting, I hate bringing up licenses because licenses are just a method of extortion, but there are more hunting licenses. Yeah, there are more hunting licenses given out in the state of Illinois, Wisconsin, and Iowa than there are members of the armed forces in the United States. I mean,
more licenses to separate individuals. So you're telling me there is an average that's higher than 3.2 million
every year
licenses
in just a few states combined, in just a few states alone. Yeah.
Cool. Interesting. That's fascinating. What is the number, D? If you have it, a ballpark.
Oh, I don't have it available. I don't have it available.
That's a great fact to know that I've never heard of any one state.
Think about the number. I mean, when you think of that,
to go shoot is not like you got to know at least how to use.
It's
a fucking
not
gun before you go fucking hunting. You shouldn't go hunting without knowing how to use a gun. It's really stupid.
It comes down to the whole it's something that, and the most absolute, it's the walnuts online that will advocate for they'll just send in the military or law enforcement to confiscate guns or whatever if there's an uprising. I'm like, you don't seem to understand what the word attrition means. And that's what it would come down to. You got to look at the number of firearms and the number of people in the United States that are just fed up with what's going on, and that it would come down to attrition. Which side would give up first? Uh-oh.
Oh, hello. Hey-o.
Right. So, Vegas. Tell us about Vegas.
You Americans scared me off with all your gun talk there. I ran away to my little burrow.
I figured they just came and got you.
I figured they shut you off.
So
this is more your style, right, John?
Hey, you know what? Technical difficulties. I'm right on that line of being a boomer. I'm gonna be fucking 35
Oh my God.
in 9 days, guys.
Oh, you young thing, you.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna be
Congrats.
42 in 2 months.
Fuck off, bro. You don't look okay.
You'll
You're doing something right, dog, because you don't look old. I look older than you, man. Fuck.
I'm older
I gotta
than you.
stop smoking.
Yeah,
But
the
Jim
cold
Bob,
weather, bro.
help.
all right, guys, let's jump into it because I feel like what time we've been going for a hot second here, eh? Okay, let's
Yeah,
get into the
Let's go to
let's
Vegas.
Get into the,
Let's go to
let's
Vegas.
get into the fucking beef of it a little bit, and I guess there's a couple things.
Are we talking about the Vegas
here.
shooter? What are we talking about?
Nah, man. So,
Shucks.
what are you guys concerned with the amount of substation attacks occurring in your country right now? Do you know about the 2014 Senate? Sorry, Steve. I'm just going to finish this. The 2014 substation study done by the Senate, which established that I think it's about a dozen specific substations. If they get taken out, will shut the entire power grid down. So, I'll start there. Is that concerning?
It's a connected grid. We have a codependent grid. If
Mhm.
you guys remember the
Sorry,
East
Luis.
Coast
Also,
collapse.
it's run on Windows Vista. That is a fact. They're still run on Windows
Yikes,
Vista.
man.
That is
XP and Vista, and they
That should bring down the substations anyway.
It's amazing.
Yeah, that's a self-sabotage bomb right there. Wait, now.
Yeah, Windows Vista. Ooh.
Most of them are air gapped. So you guys know what
Yeah.
air gap is?
Mm-hmm.
So they're not connected to the internet.
No.
They're connected to their
that's
own
actually-
network.
I think that's actually why, because they thought it would be less
basically, you ever
hackable.
heard of the phrase, if it ain't broke, don't fucking fix it? It's
Fair.
an infrastructure system.
They're
They
just like,
really
we're just
don't
gonna
wanna
let
break it.
Windows Vista ride, Doug. We're just gonna let it fucking
Ride or die. No, because they know what to do if it breaks. But the thing is, this is a legit problem. The Biden administration actually put in money to fix it. It's still not getting fixed fast enough. But they did execute a fuck ton of money, like a hell of a lot, to fix it. So it should be fixed hopefully in the next year or two. But the problem is we're already getting attacked, and it's really creepy because one of them, they were blaming a drag show. Like, this is the mainstream idea. They were saying that they were people protesting the drag show. So
that's
went
right.
to shut the power
That was in North
down
Carolina.
in North Carolina. I'm like, what? By the way, conspiracy theory? That's a conspiracy theory.
That's garbage.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
crap. And that's I'm so glad you brought that up, man. I reported on that and talked about the fact. I think in my segment I was like, it was not because of a drag show. Like, I made that very fucking clear. And so let's talk about that. Let's talk about the symptom. I do
have an idea about why people would attack a substation and bring down the grid temporarily to like shut out electronics and stuff like that. I do have people are paranoid about this central bank digital currency coming in right now, which is it's overblown. It really is. It's coming, but for certain things, and it's never going to take the place of regular transactions right now.
Cash is going to be around for a long time, but it's in May.
It is, but it'll be a stopgap measure for certain large bank-to-bank transactions, or something of that effect. People are getting so paranoid about these things that, as it stands right now, will not affect them for the next 50 years. They are doing this to show that, hey, if the grid goes down, you are not going to be able to charge your electric car. You are not going to be able to access your internet. You are not going to be able to access your banking system if there's a digital currency. That's why people are doing this, especially in North Carolina where it happened. That is Appalachia territory, man.
Did you guys hear about the blackouts and the massive blackouts in China in 2020 and the massive storms and floods that were happening in 2020 in China?
Look what's happening in California right now. and they want to like do away with all gasoline cars by 2035. And you've got 500,000 people without electricity right now, dozens dead.
2025 in some country in Europe, I forgot, but it's
Yeah,
2025
and
in some country in Europe.
you have 500,000 people without electricity.
Well, you want to know?
And look at that. The nonsense. You want to take away everybody's like ability to leave the scene. You know, no gasoline generators, no nothing like that. But you lose your power after a storm like that, and you are ass out in the wind, man.
The problem is things like water. The fact that you cannot collect water in several states because that water is of the state. And then when you are collecting it, you're not letting it like build up in aquifers and whatever other bullshit excuse that they made up.
Like you've got that storm that came in right now and flooded the state and brought in water. They are so terrible at management that they will be right back into a drought in 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. That government mismanagement is the main course.
Okay, so
it's the main cause for the drought. Yeah.
Oh, they got to keep the golf courses going, boys. Come on now.
And the avocado farms, man. You gotta
when it comes to things like safe, when it comes to things,
need their water. Not
see now. Here's one of those things that I kind of look at like an equal playing field through my crazy pirate eyes. When it comes to things like gun rights or collecting water or growing your own whatever, or pretty much just
fixing your own tractor. How about John Deere?
Oh yeah, John Deere, which is Japanese now, I believe.
This meme covers all the above. Like,
wow. yeah.
Just saying.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Wait, 26 are under constitutional carry, by the way.
Yes, I'm one.
Constitutional carry just means you
get
can
to
go
carry
get
it.
You still have to get paperwork done. You can't just make a gun and get it.
I mean, you don't have to.
Not if you're not. I don't know why people go to the stores for guns anyway. I think that's a ridiculous idea to begin with.
This is the scariest thing, Bandit. You know what? A lot of comments I got whenever I do a substation thing is South Africans are going, "Hey, fucking get ready. Welcome to fucking rolling blackouts," because they.
Oh yeah, they are.
Daily, and I think that's probably most of the world. And
it's terrible. Well, no, man, South Africa is the worst.
Yeah,
they are suffering.
They are the worst.
But aren't they getting ready to close their borders again and not like label it as apartheid, but close their borders?
Keep up.
I mean, the racism so I spoke to somebody in South Africa. That's
what. It's
and guess what? It's first, so this is the hierarchy of races, give or take, if I can summarize correctly. It's first the indigenous, but mainly darker skin, then Chinese, then everybody else comes in, and then white. So the whites are like lower than even immigrants.
Okay. Well, that's very good. Let's divide ourselves some more, shall we? Anyways, Bandit, you're talking about, you know what, your theory? Very possible, but why would this happen? And this is where I'm going to get into it. And this is kind of what we've talked about all night. And I hope it's kind of cohesive. But I get a message from a fella that was connected with this power plant in Las Vegas. Now, Jim Bob pulled up the article earlier. There's a few articles out there about it, right? But nothing much until we broke the story. So essentially, he had sent me photos of, so this is what happened, Bandit. The guy drove through the gate, lit his car on fire.
I heard this story, yeah.
Lit his car on fire, let it fucking smash into a transformer or a structure of some sort. It had to go over like a concrete, 3-foot thing to do it too. So there's actually, the media had a picture of the burning car falling into the pit. But what I had was the aftermath, and the guy sat there and watched the car burn.
Mm-hmm.
And like,
that's creepy.
That's crazy. I would show the picture, but I ended up causing a security emergency management meeting at the power plant. So we pulled the picture. But regardless, what we're doing here is getting the word out. And, I hope I did right. You
did.
You did.
You know, because I think
transparency before anything else, especially something related to infrastructure. There should never be any form of misdirection, especially when it comes to an attack on infrastructure. Everybody should know if there was an attack on the water supply, for example. Things like that are extremely serious, and there should never be any form of covert cover-ups of any form or any.
It should be public knowledge from the first minute it happens.
I agree. And so what we have now is, rather than people go to the news, they're sending me messages or sending
good,
and so what we're gonna do,
they also go to the news sometimes and they get ignored.
Okay, so hey, John, you have such a, like, based on, you can tell you're doing a good job simply based on the fact of, if you look at how many followers you have based on how many views of each video you put out, should tell you that you have at least 30 to 40% of your followers viewing each one of your videos. That alone should tell you that you are doing something right.
It's a huge metric. It's a good metric.
It is a huge like chunk of your followers
we had
pay attention and want to see your new videos pop up. That is huge, man.
And you want to know what? You know what's crazy, man, is anyone could do this, but it's just people are so turned off from tuning in. And I think I give them that chance. And, like, you know, I'm not trying to sell myself short. I'm just saying that info is there for everyone. And I have people that comment and say, you know, every time I watch your video, I got 3 hours of Googling to do. And I fucking love that. And it's like, let's throw some shit out there. Let's give an unbiased report of the news. And sometimes I piss the left off, and sometimes I piss the right off.
That's the best part. If you're not pissing both sides, you're not doing it right.
That's what I'm saying. And that's what
when you're taking flack. When you're taking flack, that means you're over the target.
Sir, I have been called everything from a libtard to a MAGA lover, and I'm neither of the above. Like,
I love heliosexual though. I will take heliosexual.
Heliotard.
Heliotard, man.
Some of my followers, we're sludge party, vote sludge 2024, because we're all just sludge. We're all just bacteria piles that defecate. Vote for the sludge party.
Do you guys remember?
I like that.
The guy in the U.S. that had a dink dong or like a really ridiculous name.
Yeah, that happens all the time.
John, I can't hear you for some reason.
You can write. You can just. I think he was smoking. I don't think he was talking.
I was silently gesturing my buddy to close the door.
So
that's what that was.
So Steven, you've been over here sending me some things in the chat here, and you've been quiet. So I'm gonna put you on the spotlight because I think this answers some of his questions.
That's unheard of, Steven, to be quiet in a discussion about.
There's a lot to digest here for a lot of people. So I don't want to, be too aggressive.
So Jim Bob,
I don't want to scare John.
Nah, you can't.
No. That's not going to happen.
You're good.
It's not going to happen.
Jim Bob,
man.
I just want to finish up by saying, and what I'll do here, if I cut out for a sec, it's because I'm sending you a picture. I'll send you the email. We had Las Vegas news agencies reach out to us saying, "Can we get those pictures?" Right. So obviously, I said I got them off Reddit, which is where I got them, guys. And so,
did you get a badge for that?
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah, sure.
Did you get a Reddit badge for that?
Yeah, it was a very hard thread to find. Anyways, regardless, that's what I said. And they wanted to sign. They actually, you got to sign a photo release form or something. And I was like, all I said to them was, I just want to know what direction you're taking this. Is it going to be unbiased? Is it going to be this? And that may sound lame, but I wasn't just going to send it to her. And then regardless, we had to pull it on behalf of protecting people. So that's what we did. And that's that. But we broke news, guys. And this is something.
And the thing is, it's like, it doesn't matter. Like, you could possibly earn like the Gary Webb Award, if you break a big enough story.
Let's not talk about that award though. It's a bad award.
I was gonna say, he's far up in the cold. They're not going to send somebody up there for at least 5-6 weeks.
Yeah, I mean,
have you not heard of the Winter Soldier? He's Winter Soldier for a reason.
Yeah, he's Winter Soldier territory, man.
Yeah, I guess
he might get Gary Webbed, but
It was a hunting accident. So
That's called Dick Cheney.
Dick Cheney.
Yeah, you get Cheneyed.
Right. So to end that, guys.
Wow, man.
So to end that, guys, we got about 50K views on what I put out. Pulled it.
Yeah.
And I have not seen a thing since. So they shut it down. So part of me is going, shit, should I have let it ride? But I don't think you can do that at the expense of, a source. So that's it.
Okay.
Right?
That for sure is one thing. Protecting your source is something that I don't think modern journalism does either.
No. They'll dox you in a heartbeat,
but
man.
sometimes they're using them because of what is it? People are familiar with the matter. What does that even mean? People are familiar with the matter.
Modern journalism will dox you. Without even thinking about it, because what's it going to
part of the narrative?
Yeah, what's it going to do to them?
Narrative.
If you die or go to jail, that journalist is still going to be doing the news the next day.
Well, if they're told to do it, that's what I'm saying. They're going to be told to do it.
The recent one, the Washington Post woman that doxed the Libs of TikTok woman.
Oh, Jesus, man!
She didn't do it. I didn't dox her.
Hold on. I know who you're talking about, and she got her Twitter
because she was sharing
shut down.
Wasn't it
Shannon wants.
Terrible supposed journalist from Washington Post.
Anyway, that Libs of TikTok creator, she got for real death threats, death threats, because not only did they dox her name, these people got a hold of her address, email, phone number, everything.
It wasn't the home address was not current, but it doesn't matter.
Even if
it wasn't, them find the real house.
I've got those.
Yeah,
I mean, I've. It sucks, but if I actually worried about every single one of those that I received in my Instagram, Facebook, TikTok messages that I got that were like, "We're gonna kill you,"
I would wear that with. I would take that and wear that with.
There's this Spanish
in my mind,
dude,
but at this.
There's this Spanish dude on Instagram that, for the longest time on TikTok, he kept messaging me on my Instagram. But after I'd post a video, he'd message me and he's like, "You don't know what you're talking about. You need to shut the fuck up. I'll hunt you down." And I'm just like, "Okay, dude, whatever."
He's just after your boots.
And I've gotten a bunch of those in the past, and I've also found though the opposite. I will say there's been a happy medium. The further I got away from Facebook, the more friendlier people are. Facebook's a fucking. It can be a grumpy hole. It's also a great place for memes, but it gets a little ridiculous over there sometimes. And Instagram, my Instagram feed recently it's either podcasts or
all mine is.
Yeah, well, it's either podcasts or it's random ass shit, because I look at random ass shit. I'm telling you, you guys should see my poor phone. I promise you, I am doing
like a mess.
I promise you, I am doing my damnedest to mess these algorithms up, because they don't know what the wild card is going on here. They're like, "What is this guy about?" I get advertisements for some of the weirdest shit that I don't even look at, but it just somehow relates back to something, because they're just like, "Holy fuck, what do we give him? He's running out of things to look at." They were trying to sell me edible poo the other day, bro. Where the hell
maybe they were telling you to eat shit, Jim Bob.
Probably.
And that's okay. I have learned, especially over the past year,
that your FBI handler telling you
that your haters are your biggest supporters. Your haters never miss an episode. Your haters never don't look at your page every single day. You know what I'm saying? So if anything, the people that are giving you such flack, they're just projecting all over you while they're sitting there having some kind of weird pirate fetish in the corner and just.
Wow.
And
isn't that a problem?
You're living rent free inside their heads, my guy. That's what it is right there.
That's okay.
And it's fun. It doesn't bother me because my life doesn't change and the show must go on. So.
We will continue doing what we're doing no matter what. Which, like John is talking about, we will continue to bring you news stories that you will not find on the regular news channels on mainstream media, and we will discuss those topics that they won't talk about.
Nobody talks about Sabadian Francus. Everybody's afraid of that topic.
I'm not.
We went so many hours on that. Nobody dares
we got 5 hours worth of episode on that.
Nobody wants to touch that. That is some like third rail.
I want those TikToks to come back. That's what I want.
They
I
will.
need somebody to repost those TikToks.
Slowly but surely, I've been reposting them one at a time. I mean, it's the best I can do with that. Like
a process. Yeah.
I would say YouTube Shorts. Just still try it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of them on there already too. Like, I throw things up there. I've even thrown like Instagram Reels up there and stuff now because they're getting more popular. And I mean, the stuff's out there. And I will say, like, I have my original TikTok run that did get so big did leave such a lasting impact that I still to this day get videos sent to me that people are like, "Holy shit, is that your voice?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Like and I don't even care about the credit. I've never cared about the credit. I think I've made this vocal a million times on this show that, like, I don't care if there's only one person.
The fact that
here.
you lost access to those accounts, that's like stinging.
Yeah, it
does sting.
It was hard.
It does sting.
It's a sting.
It does. But I mean, it doesn't hurt me because eventually I get found again and people still pass things around and you definitely don't forget this face. But, like, you know, I'm not out there for all of those people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am, but, like, if you don't like it, or if this specific episode you didn't care for, or something like this, or it wasn't your kind of forte, I always feel like there's at least one person out there that all of this is for, and that's the person I'm looking for. Like, I don't care if this happens to be the next episode that blows up for some reason and gets 10,000 views, like that Sabadian Frankist episode, and, you know, whoa, that's awesome if it does, but if it doesn't, it doesn't, you know. But I always also look at the fact that we have all this backlog catalog now too, that, like, if you've got a question, I promise you it's been answered on an episode in previous.
We'll put everything on a GPT, and we'll train the GPT based off the information that we have pumped out. And trust me, I'm going to do that one day once I have enough computing power. It's going to be hilarious. Like next year. Probably by next year, I'll be able to feed the entirety of the podcast into a machine, and I will be able to output a GPT that speaks based off the voices of everybody.
I'm excited to see what that does.
Imagine talking to yourself. So that's
no.
what ended the year. I
do that anyway.
I do that anyway enough. Yeah.
So I met an IBM engineer that was developing a GPT based off an artist that, like, he himself knows, and then training that machine eventually to have a discussion against the real human.
You see, Jimmy's talking to himself right now.
Jimmy, I'll say this, Jim Bob, if you can make one person just think, not even think a certain way, but just think about something, then you're doing your work, man. You're doing
yeah, you know, that was
one mind.
That was the point I was gonna. I meant to make this point earlier, but, you know, we have those instances and things just get good and spicy. But you were talking about that left and right and everything like that. I am the first person to throw you the wild cards. You know, like I've beat this horse to death on the show. I know I have, but I am not big into the is it round, is it flat conversation. And every time it gets brought up, I will immediately be like, well, it's neither of the above. We're in a fucking spaceship that's shaped like a turtle, hurtling through a matrix computer generated something, and maybe one day we'll escape. But as for now, we're going to continue to be here and have fun because we don't know shit. And people are like, what the fuck? And I'm just like, you got to think bigger. Like, why stop at a narrative? Why accept either narrative? Why not look for your own narrative in between the lines? Because you totally can if you're dissecting it enough. You know, I have such a hard time watching television and movies in the past 10 years because my brain wants to dissect it. Like, I'll sit down and try to watch things, but I can't. And it does the same with video games. And it's sometimes people are like, oh man, that's pretty sad. You don't ever do any of that stuff. And at the same time, I'm like, well, no, I've got a bunch of other shit that I got to do anyway. So it's okay. But, like, it just, old me would have been able to give you some kind of quick quip that was from a movie in the 90s, but now I'm just like, I have no idea. Like, I haven't kept up with things in so long. I couldn't tell you because I dissect it because there is so much propaganda built into all of it. Because Hollywood is 100% a CIA psyop. Like,
Yeah.
You guys ever heard of Hollywood economics? Essentially, the Hollywood establishment was funded through taxes from us because they have never paid taxes for probably 100 years. So imagine an industry of hundreds of billions of dollars that basically never paid taxes through
religion.
Why would I be should I be surprised at something like that?
Good point. Religion.
Did you say that expecting me to be surprised?
Yeah, they basically pay no taxes is the answer.
Imagine
That's
that.
how they do it.
So, Jim Bob, this is a good segue to show that vid you pulled up earlier about the Iranian guy. And we're going to talk about whether it's fucking true or not. I'm not going to say anything else, but now would be a good time to play that vid. And then what I want to do with you guys, if you can humor me, we're going to look up the debunking website and find out what corporation owns it. That's what I want to do right now. Because this was sent to me multiple times. Let's just play the video.
Breaking news out of Iran. Judge Abdulghasem Salavati, also known as the Judge of Death in the Islamic regime, has been assassinated in front of his home by revolutionaries in Tehran, Iran. Judge Salavati was appointed to his position in 2002 and since then has been known for handing down over 25 death sentences and also sentencing over 250 individuals to a collective 1,300 years worth of prison sentences that include psychological and physical torture. Salavati was also the judge who decided on the execution of Mohsen Shekhari, the young protester that was publicly hung several weeks ago in Iran. The Iranian government is fully aware of the fact that Salavati has been assassinated, but they are trying to suppress this news. The reason they would want to suppress it is because they understand that news like this could be a firecracker to ignite the spirit of the Iranian people even further than it already has been. And apparently, the Iranian government plans to come out tomorrow or the next day and state that Salavati fell ill, he went to the hospital and died of illness. Not that he was assassinated. But the truth is that he was assassinated. He was killed by the Iranian people. He was killed by the people who he has killed himself. So let this be a reminder to any of you who are watching that the revolution in Iran is in full force and that the Iranian people will not rest until they're free. And as much as no one wants to condone violence, when a regime meets its people with sheer brutality, this is the only way to fight back. The Iranian people have been left no other choice, and the choice they are making is to fight to the death for their freedom. So please share this, and please share this news far and wide to your family, friends, and social media followers.
Okay, so the biggest thing, so now, Jim Bob, just Google Iranian Judge of Death. The first thing that comes up, and this is why it seems extremely suspicious to me, is debunking websites, right? Like the first thing that comes up is fucking debunked, and it's I mean, Routers might be one of them, but I mean, let's take a look
Reuters.
At who owns. Let's take a look at. I think we know. Doesn't the Clintons own Routers?
Thomson Reuters.
Yeah.
You might be you're thinking of you're thinking of other agencies that it's not Thomson Reuters is English.
I want to bring up something that is like sort of similar, but on the same level as this is immediately when something like this happens, you have to be extremely suspicious when the propaganda machine immediately kicks into full gear and starts going. Because look what happened with I can't remember the guy's name, the Broncos player that fell immediately after getting tackled. And immediately the propaganda machine immediately kicked into full gear online saying, no, it was not this. It was not this. It was, this is what happened. This is what happened. And they immediately so quickly.
Bandit,
exactly,
I saw an
they
article
aligned.
Why athletes have heart attacks. That was on the BBC.
It went from 25 to 1,500.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's climate change, you bigot. That's why everybody's having heart attacks.
Yeah. and video games.
Wait, did you guys see the Twitter the dump from Veritas showing the Pfizer executive?
Oh yeah, saying that they
sorry,
knew
not
it was
a
going
Pfizer
to be
executive. Sorry,
Yeah.
the Pfizer research employee, not executive.
that they knew what the vaccine was going to do ahead of time.
1 in 5,000 or something. Is that what you guys are talking about?
It's more than that. It's going to be more than that, man.
I mean, the amount of injuries were extremely excessive.
Oh, and that was just what was reported to
felt
theirs. But
extremely ill.
We're getting off topic here. Going back to what John was talking about, it's like you have to be immediately suspicious when the propaganda machine kicks up that quick on and spins on a dime. So that immediately, when you pull up that and it immediately tries to debunk it.
Yep.
Your radar should go off and go, man, I don't believe that.
So you know, I just thought it'd be like I mean, if it's tough to do live, but I would love to fucking dig into these debunking websites, who's running them, and I bet you could fucking find the trail, and I bet
that's easy.
At one point in time, there was a couple of them that go directly back to former CIA and FBI agents that started like private security network things. And
that's easy to trace, man. They don't hide anymore.
So
they don't hide anymore.
So one of the fact-checking companies is funded by Johnson and Johnson.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you go further down the rabbit hole, you're going to find they're all associated.
And Snopes is just a fat guy on the couch with his cat.
Yeah, Snopes is not what
Yeah.
Snopes is literally
in the end, Vanguard and BlackRock be owning everything. So I mean, like, you know where it's coming from.
There it is.
It's just, you know, and it's funny because everyone knows it. Everyone knows it. I was talking with my buddy here. He's a arborist, you know, hardworking guy. He watches the little Philly DeFranco every once in a while. He's not so in touch. I'm not trying to diss him, but he knows all this stuff. And we talked about it before I jumped on it, and it's like, it's absurd. We all sit here knowing this, and we continue to take part.
So what did I say at the very? What did I say at the very beginning? What did I say at the very beginning? We have become such a pacified nation, world, population, that it would take something that you can't even imagine to unite a population to rise up against the rulers. It would take something so insanely nasty. You can't even imagine what that could possibly be, because people know that they should not trust the government, but they still do.
Remember,
you know, they
when
know
in World War II, it was enough to say that they were slaughtering people, yet it's happening right now in Xinjiang in China, and we're doing nothing.
We're doing nothing. So that it goes back to what I said. They have pacified. Yeah, they have pacified such a majority of the population.
It's like getting out of a bad relationship, right? It's like
I'm not saying
it's scary.
That it can't, because if you look at where we're headed, we're on the right track. But it is the timeline. How long is that? How long is it going to take? You know, we're on the right track, but how long is it going to take? I mean, I would like to think that the good guys win.
Well,
I really do.
Steven has a take on that because his state's trying to make stages to make a difference, aren't they, Steven?
One guy has put a joint resolution in the however, I don't see it as something positive necessarily, but it might. We'll see what happens.
Hasn't this also been done officially, even in Texas, to official capacity? That's to the same level.
I would have to look.
I believe Texas has attempted this twice, but this is not a bad sign.
Missouri and Oklahoma are trying it right now. But
Oklahoma is also
from
now
this page here. You go to versions, and if you click that, it should have a link where you can actually look at the PDF. Introduced. There you go.
Let's see. Aren't we going back to the old adage of why would I trade one tyrant 10,000
I
miles
have-
away
I-
for 50 tyrants 100 miles away.
No,
You're going to trade the tyrants
No,
in
no,
Washington,
no, no,
D.C.
no,
for
no.
the tyrants
No.
locally in
Okay.
Oklahoma.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Point in place. Right there.
I mean, I'm right, right?
You are going to be willing to travel 30 minutes into town to do something about this instead of days across the country to go to Washington and do something about it.
Oh, both are going to happen. I'm not worried about that. It's going to be a local show, and then we're going to take it on the road. That's how it's going to work.
And
I got
it's
only
also-
2 people begging me not to do it. All the rest of us are all in. We don't care anymore.
With you.
I mean, it's the fact that all these states are getting systematically abused by the federal system for a
Yeah.
variety of different reasons, and it is very comprehensible
Balkanization is the answer.
because it has to be a
Yes and no.
relatively peaceful potential vulcanization of some capacity.
Yeah.
Similar to what you have in Europe to an extent, which is kind of a decoupling in relationship to us.
Infighting can be just as bad as,
The United Kingdom is a
anything else,
joke.
man.
But at least
It is not even a
won't
real
end
place.
The entire world. It's funny you just said that, Bandit. I was just thinking on that level. Like, I'm like, tribes, though, when you get to tribalism and breaking it down, you know, our indigenous ancestors
It's got to be
fought
peaceful.
each other. Like, they were scalping each other like crazy. But you want to know why that's a
That
better
sounds a lot like
alternative?
sounds a lot like a narrative to me.
Sure.
I want
I'm
it to
gonna
be
say,
peaceful.
It's better than the entire world. We're all about to go to war so that a bunch of rich guys can maybe get a little bit more rich, or they get the lithium mines in Ukraine, or they get whatever the fuck's in Taiwan or Jerusalem that we give a fuck about. Isn't it just fucking land?
Microchips.
Gives
Hey.
a fuck. And we're gonna
Yeah.
go die. We're about to go to World War III for this shit that doesn't need to happen. Doesn't matter.
We're gonna
And
go to.
because
We
globalized-
want it to be
We took
we
away
want it to be
microchips.
peaceful. Yeah, we want it to be peaceful, but they won't allow it to be peaceful because it is not in their interest for the nation to split up. They won't
No,
let it
of
be
course
peaceful.
not. Of course
I
not.
would honestly, let's speak in reality here. Even though it's not on par with like what's happened previously, you know, I've seen conflict before, and it's not something you want to see like in your local neighborhood.
No.
But they won't let you just peacefully leave the gang. You know, they won't let you peacefully leave a gang, right? And that's what the
You mean-
United States
you
is.
mean
It's
the
a
fiat-
it's a
the
gang
fiat
of it's a gang of states, right?
Yeah.
Brought together to, you know, abuse other nations. And the leader of the gang, which would be Washington, D.C., is not just going to let you leave peacefully. So they will escalate to violence, which is what they've done since we've been established as a country. We've escalated everything to violence.
Well, Bandit, it's like
So,
if you try and go off fiat money back to the
Just-
gold standard, right? You're gonna get slapped.
Yeah, why don't you ask
You're gonna get slapped.
Gaddafi, Saddam
Muammar
Hussein.
Gaddafi, Saddam Hussein? I mean,
Gaddafi was
stab that guy. They
John
stabbed
F.
that.
Kennedy.
Yeah.
They stabbed that dude in the butt.
They
I mean,
killed him by stabbing him in the butt. I love that you know that. I talked about that recently, and no one knew that.
I mean,
yeah, they stabbed him. With
it was brutal. It was
yeah, I saw it
brutal,
live.
and
CNN
they used
streamed
him.
It live. CNN
They
streamed it
yes.
live. I remember.
I
that.
have the video. They will do that in such a. They hung Saddam Hussein. They've got those videos were all over the internet.
Oh yeah.
They will send a
Mussolini back in
message.
the day. They hung
Yeah, they will.
Mussolini.
They will use you to send a message, and they will make your death public and use it to send a message to the rest of the world, going, "Obey or die."
Wow.
Plain and simple, man. They're not going to let you leave peacefully. But it's come to the point where I think there are a few areas of this nation that have just been fed up with being, like you said, abused by the people in Washington, D.C., like I said, who obviously don't follow the rules that they make. And then they're making these just asinine laws and rules for everybody in the nation to follow, and they themselves don't follow. And you've got a few groups in this nation that are seeing that and going, man, I'm tired of this.
Yeah.
I really am. I'm tired of it.
I think that's the bottom line, right? I think that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
No.
But I guess you got to do what you got to do. I mean, how much more are you willing to take?
Have you guys ever heard of the Republic of Molossia?
Malaysia?
Malaysia. No.
Malaysia.
No, not Malaysia.
Fund.
It's in Nevada. It's
MOL. Oh, this guy.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
You go to this place, you can even, like, there's a desert phone.
Are you talking about Slab City?
I'm not talking about Slab City.
No. This is a guy that has a telephone in the desert to call his land and the leader. And he has passports, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
I mean,
I know what you're talking about, and this is funny. Didn't you do a video, a TikTok on this?
I didn't do a TikTok on him, but I
think I've seen a TikTok on this. I think I've seen a TikTok on this.
Yeah, there is a TikTok on it. But this guy, he started his own country. He's the president. He has his own currency. All this kind of stuff.
They have the Republic of Sea. They have the Republic of Sealand too.
And that was one of the first, I think. That's why.
Yes,
and I really think you're going to start I really think you're going to start seeing more of this. More people.
That's a step in the right direction.
It is because you're going to see more people that are trying to break away from the federal state and do their thing.
We know how this goes, though.
Sadly.
It starts with a W and ends with an O.
You know what? I do understand that, but at the same time, if the American government can be, if the American military can be stopped by goat herders and rice farmers,
I can vouch for that.
Then I'm pretty sure the rednecks around here can probably do a damn good job of things if there was enough of us in one spot.
Well, just allegedly, hypothetically, if 10% of us didn't pay our taxes in Minecraft, I mean, that would do it too. It's just a thought.
And Minecraft doesn't.
No. What is it?
Wait, so you guys pay taxes?
I'm just trying to.
If you take out 5%, if you
a little wall between myself.
If 5% of certain group of depositors in a few banks take out their money, they default.
It's gone.
Whoopsies.
You break the
pull all your money out of the bank. Everyone, start pulling.
Let's go.
If it happens fast enough,
you guys are keeping your money in a bank.
Right? Not me. I have never trusted one. I've never had a bank account.
The funny thing is, it's not money. It's just debt. That's what fiat money is.
That's all it is, man.
We all know that.
And there's actual debates. You can look this up. There's actual debates of how the U.S. creates money. It is not how you think it is. And that's the fascinating.
Out of thin air. They create it out of thin air.
No. There's debate. There's debates of like the actual framework. Is it just the money printing? Is it based off debt, off mortgages? Like, where is the source?
Where's the value?
The birth certificate.
It's a value.
Your birth certificate.
It's a real debate because they don't there's different mechanics that build the real value of the U.S. currency, but it's complicated. It's very complicated.
There's nothing that builds.
That's another episode.
They just make it out of it.
Yeah.
That's another episode.
There's more science to that. There's more science to it. It's the science of that.
Well, it sounds like made up science.
Where does the American money actually come from?
I'll send you the 4 Horsemen. You should watch that YouTube doc. It talks about it. Yeah, it's very good. And it's still up. They haven't deleted that one yet.
Really?
Watch that.
I'll have to share that one with this episode, actually.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I'll check that out.
Oh, and the Minds of Men is a great one for PSYOP understanding.
Oh, yeah.
Because it gives you the history of American and Canadian PSYOPs, so you'll like it. McGill is in that way too much.
No shit.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
I mean, that's where Peterson came from.
That is true, actually. So was there anything you didn't get to touch on tonight, John, that you still wanted to hit before we got out of here?
Nah, man, my head's swimming, to be honest, with all we talked about. So we've covered it. I've talked about what
Dude, it's always a good talk, man.
To share. I think I would just say, you can make this my little closing spiel. Jim Bob and fellas is just, hey, if you're interested, hop on TikTok, news updates for real. Join the movement. I don't know what the fuck to call it. Call it whatever you want, but let me know what's happening. I'll do my best to get it out there.
Hey, I got an idea for you, if you'd like. Because, because you're part of the fam over here. We could always call it. You can always call it an unconstitutional awakening.
I like that. It's a great name, Jim Bob. I got to tell you, I wish I thought.
A couple of times you flipped up the hoodie. I expected you to start a TikTok.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, I was waiting for it, bro.
Yeah,
I got to keep the persona alive. The hoodlum, and actually, it helps hide the receding hairline. Like right here, I look like a full-headed man. You know what I'm saying? Nah, you got to put the hood up every once in a while, y'all. Every once in a while. Yes.
But you guys know that I'll have all those links shared for to get back to John. And I keep telling him he needs to come and join the website, and then you guys will be able to just find him over there because shoot, why not? He's always already having enough fun with us. But maybe that'll be in the future. I keep looking at it. I do appreciate you, John, and anytime, I know you're full of news, so anytime you want to pop on once a week, man, and do some news rundown, you are always welcome to come do it over here, bro. Like that. We appreciate you and love talking to you, man.
Right back at you guys, man. It's nice to have fucking conversations.
Steven, did you have anything you didn't hit?
Just don't worry about how they're gonna get you. Just keep going, and don't worry about if they're gonna ban you or not. I mean, still haven't erased the website yet, so there's that.
They haven't blackbagged any of us yet.
Yeah, so
Thanks.
I shouldn't laugh at that.
Always the best one.
Well, yeah, I mean,
go ahead, man. What do you got for tonight?
Nah, I got nothing, man. It's been good. It's been a good talk.
I think it's been a fun talk.
Yeah.
Luis,
they can come for me, boys. I got these killers right here. They're gonna.
You gotta take a. Yeah, exactly. You gotta take a break from the occult and conspiracy theories every once in a while, and actually focus on like what is really going on, and not what they're just feeding you on TV. It really.
That's right.
Well, and let's add to that, Bandit. I love that. We have the power to get shit out there. Think about what we can do with this conversation, with sending some pictures and a story. We can get shit out there. We can let people know. We have more power than we think. It does seem fucking hopeless sometimes. You turn on the news, you're like, right. This is fucking garbage. It's not your only option. That'd be maybe
But see, the thing is, it's like if you get just like
go outside, touch some grass.
5 views, 10 views,
that too.
15, 20, 30 views on an episode that we put out. And of those views, if we can just get 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5 people out of that to realize, hey, wait a minute, why didn't I hear about any of this on the news?
That's it.
And then they go start doing their own digging, and they come to a realization that what they've been living and what they've been fed is a lie. I would call that a success.
Let's be real. If there's
absolutely,
if there's anybody walking around after the past 3 years that doesn't have at least the slightest bit of questioning on their mind about something, then they're totally
in the water.
Then they're totally a lost hope.
You're an NPC.
And, you're probably just part of the system that has been generated here for us, like the girl in the red dress.
Yeah, you're an NPC.
Luis, what do you got for me tonight, buddy?
Yeah.
When you see something you might disagree with or find obscure, don't use Google. Use Bing. Use Brave browser. Use
Brave. That's the way to go.
Bidu.
Yep.
Use Neva. There's another one. There's so many other options because Google just censors the hell out of everything. And last thing about that is that you ever seen the test where you put a result and you start to go down all of the pages? Mm-hmm. So I did that yesterday or the day before. It was like we did that, and it now just says more results, and then just the page just breaks.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that. Yep.
And so they don't want to show you even all the possible options. Mm-mm. So that number above that says 1.5 billion. It's fake. So
yeah. Oh
there's
yeah.
not there's sometimes not even 300 results for something. Yeah, they sell it at this. There's 50,000.
You said it right there. They sell it. That's what these people are in the game to do, to sell you.
Yes, sir.
On everything. It's all psychological because selling breaks into psychological warfare. Like marketing is 100% psychology in its own realm. And that's what they're trying to do is sell things to you. Yeah. I mean, I can't disagree with that at all, man. And I guess pay attention to what they're trying to sell you if you're going to be listening to them trying to sell you something all the time. There are people out here trying to spread positive news and true news and things like that, like my buddy John down here, man. You guys do make sure you tune into his TikTok because every single day he gives you a news update and he'll give you a good laugh along with it. Like that's how I found him. He was doing alien talk, man, and it had me laughing so damn hard that I reached out to the guy months ago and was like, dude, you got to come and hang out on my show. And here we are now, still hanging out and having a good old time. And I can't appreciate that enough, man. You've been a good little extra to our show, and I think having that spread out view from another country always does good for a reality check for some people. You know what I mean? Like
good to know. Yeah, man. We're all just fucking sludge walking around this earth, man.
That's you guys, I will have every link that there is to get back to John and how to find him with all his fun stuff over there at unconstitutionalawakening.com. Your home for everything this show. And while you're there, you guys can totally answer those pirate riddles so that you can that are on these episodes to get you one of these sweet ass Unconstitutional Awakening the podcast stickers. I mean, we have 2 episodes still that have not been answered, so you guys better pick it up. You know, anybody's free to play, even if you're on the show. Go answer the question on the website for me, and you guys will totally get a sticker sent to you. So I do have a question for you tonight, so I hope everyone's ready. You guys here in the audience, make sure you keep it quiet until we stop recording. But a pirate needs this to follow the treasure map correctly. It is also round, but not a gold coin. What is it? You guys have a fantastic night, and I guess it's time to weigh anchor and get up out of here. So have a great night.